I can't believe this is happening. I cannot believe this is happening. What is my life? I cannot believe this is happening. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. What's up? This is Ray with Get Real Ray, a place and space for life and business tips from this creative soul to inspire you on your journey, or at the very least, provide you with some laughs. And so let's get real. Let's get real on the fact that I am on a 2-month house sit, and I can't believe this is happening. Okay, so just to clarify, you do not have to do house sitting, be interested in house sitting, or anything of that nature in order to hopefully find some sort of useful information in this video. I am on a 2-month house sit right now. I started planning this, I guess I spoke to this couple back in like September of 2024. It's now January 2025, and I'm gonna be in this home, this beautiful home, until March. I got here last night around like, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night, and right now it's not even 5 o'clock, so less than 24 hours in this home. The couple who own the home, super nice. They cooked dinner for me, which was super, super special and unexpected. I thought we were going out to dinner, but they cooked dinner. And I have a lot of food allergies. I'm also vegan, so I did not expect for them to not only cook a vegan dinner, but to also not eat meat while dining with me. I thought that was so cool. Okay, there was some cheese in their food, but they had a separate like casserole for me. We shared 2 dishes. There were 3 dishes that she made. We shared 2. And the third dish, there was a vegan version and then a vegetarian version. And I thought, oh my gosh, these people did not have to do this. They're not vegan. They're not even vegetarian. But they, I asked the lady of the house, hey, do you guys normally eat veg? And she's like, no, we don't, but we try to eat at least 1 vegetarian meal a week when we can. And I was like, that's super cool. So that was really kind of clear to me, like, nah, we don't normally eat like this at all. But we wanted you to feel at home. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is really amazing and very touching. And so I was moved. And I really like the fact that we sat down and shared dishes. It wasn't like, here's your plate of food, you vegan freak. But hey, we have some dishes on the table, and let's pass the dishes and let's talk. Now, okay, to be fair, I was a little concerned that there was going to be prayer, just because I do not say grace. I have thought, I'm not religious, and I have thought, well, maybe I should go back to doing some sort of recognition before eating my food. Some people thank all of the hands that came together in order to grow this food. They thank the farmers, they thank the land, they thank the animals. And I think that's super cool and super moving. I did grow up where, for a period when I was young, we would all sit together at the table, especially when it was like Sunday at grandma's kind of thing. And so extended family would come over, and there would be like a kids table and an adult table. Or if not everybody came over, then everyone would be at this one big table. But we would say grace before dining. And, as I got older, that just wasn't a thing. Also, we weren't really eating at grandma's. But, being not religious, it was also kind of like, well, why are we going to pray over this food when, we don't necessarily honor, or I don't want to say honor, but you get what I'm saying, right? So I did toy with the idea of reintroducing this idea of saying thanks before eating food, but I said, I don't want to force it, right? The more important thing for me as an adult was simply not being on my phone, being able to have a conversation with whoever I was dining with, and not watching TV. like those were kind of my priorities, as well as waiting for the both people to have their food. So if I have my food, try not to eat until the other person has their food too. This was always kind of like a little contentious point in my marriage because my former husband was a foodie. And so for him, if the food is hot and it's supposed to be eaten when it's hot, like, oh, someone made a steak, then you eat it when it's hot. You don't wait for the other person's food. The kitchen may take longer to bring out the food and you eat it. Where, especially when we're cooking at home, my thing was like, no, there's no excuse. I am completely fine if my food gets a little on the cooler side while I wait for you to have your food. And so I would get really frustrated when he would be standing there waiting to cook his steak and going, well, how much longer do you eat? And I'm like, well, I think it's going to be like 5 more minutes, and I'm just like, I'm not cooking off of a recipe here. So I'm giving you the best estimate that I can. And sometimes that part of the dish would only take 5 more minutes, but then I realized, oh, I have to go to the bathroom or something. So God forbid I have to go to the bathroom before we sit down at the table because that steak has got to be served hot. So yes, it was a thing. It was a thing. And I was married for almost 10 years, you guys. But it was, I gave in on that because my priority was we are not going to be checking our phones during dinner. And I would not eat my food waiting for him. If it was his turn to pick the music, then I would sit there and I would wait for him to pick the song, the music, the artist that we were going to listen to, the playlist on his phone, and then turn his phone over so that we could eat. And so whereas he would get, frustrated with me for not having my food on the table at the time, his steak was on the table, I would get frustrated if he did not pick the music. If I had to wait for him to pick the music, basically. So he would be frustrated if he had to wait for my tofu, and I'd be frustrated if I had to wait for him to pick his music. Because I found it unsettling when I would be talking to him or asking him about something, and then I see him check his phone. It's like, am I boring you right now? What is happening? Is there a crisis? Because I would love to be able to check my phone right now too, because I run my own business. And I could be having all kinds of disasters in my business right now, or potential clients reaching out to me. But I have to be very mindful of my time and energy. And so if this is the only point in the day where I can make sure that I turn off my brain in terms of work and focus on people that I love and quality time for myself, then I need this. I need to not only not check my phone, but to know that the person that I'm with is also going to be able to give me their full attention. Now, with that all being said, we did get into a routine where we both, you pick the music, you don't fix with the music, and if it's a song you don't like or an artist that suddenly puts on some really crazy song, you just try to roll with it. And so that's kind of what was the priority in our household. Now, fast forward to this house sit, I really liked these gentle reminders of a different type of speed of life or a different way to live. Now, some of you watching this might be like, what the F are you talking about, girl? We always sit down and have dinner together. We always talk at dinner. We don't bring our phones to the dinner table. We don't talk during dinner. And we always have dishes of food on the table and we pass them around. What are you talking about? What is so unique about this, Ray? Well, hey, for those of you living the single life, it may not be something that you commonly do where you have bowls of food on the table and you pass them. Even as I'm saying this, I'm thinking, well, okay, there's really no need for me to just eat out of one dish and then go back to the kitchen for seconds. I could put everything in separate dishes and have my plate and serve myself at the table. I could do this. And part of my thing is I have been practicing living really small, partly because it meant less dishes. Ding! Partly because when I'm house sitting, I don't really want to use their dishes and stuff because that just means more cleanup. And I don't want to you know, cook something and have it burn in the pan and then have trouble cleaning the pan and then have someone talk about, oh, you didn't clean the pan right. I remember babysitting this kid, and I just warmed up his lunch. I don't really remember. We made something. Yeah, we made something for lunch that the parents like did not expect me to make, but it was something that he liked. He's like, "Can we make this?" I'm like, "Yes." He was a super cool kid. I still consider him and his family friends. But I remember coming over another day just to, watch him. And the dad comes up and he's like, "Oh, hey, I want to talk to you. Did you use this pan to cook?" And I just couldn't remember because I was like, we've had so many lunches all week. And breakfast, I don't know. I guess, maybe, I don't know. And like, I don't remember what each of your pans look like. Like, I don't know. And he's like, "Yeah, well, my wife said it must have been you because I know I didn't do it. And it looks like you used the scrubbing pad. And just so you know, for these pans, you don't use the scrubbing pad. You have to use the soft side of the pad." And I'm just standing there thinking, what the F? I fed your kid. Your kid was happy. This pot is not damaged. It wasn't burnt in. Are you seriously talking to me right now about you think there might be some scratch marks in the bottom of your pan? Like, get the F out of here. Note to self, I'm not going to use your kitchenware again. We'll just stick to like my paper towels and microwave. And, I don't want to go through this. Cookware is meant to be cooked out of. And if all of your cookware has to be pristine and look like it was brand new, then maybe you should check yourself. Those are my feelings. I don't know. Drop in the comments below if you feel like all cookware should look pristine and brand new. I don't know. Maybe that's like a thing. Maybe I'm in the wrong. I'm probably in the wrong. Okay, I get it. I'm in the wrong. Whatever. But for me, I was just like, this is not fun, and noted. I won't be cooking here again. What can I tell you? Now, like I said, the kid, super amazing. I'm still really close to his mom and love them dearly. Nothing on them. I just was really kind of put off by this whole thing of, like the fact that somebody inspected the dish so closely, because it was clean, the dish was clean, but inspected the dish so closely that they felt that they saw little swirl marks from a scrubby pad. We're not talking about one of those like stainless steel or the wool pads, nothing like that. So anyway, so I say all that to be like, I just try not to use other people's stuff. I just don't want to deal with it. And I am in a fortunate position where because I couldn't put like my kitchenware in storage. I put a lot of plates and stuff in storage, but I couldn't put the air fryer in storage because God forbid there would be a rodent infestation in the storage facility, then I'd have like this huge fine from this particular storage facility. So the air fryer comes with me in my car to every house sit. And so I'm in this place for 2 months. I unpack the car and I'm thinking, maybe I will use one of their plates. And yes, I will use my air fryer. But maybe I don't have to live small. They've cleared out drawers and closet space, and they cleared out so many spaces, kitchen space, and most homeowners do. And I always say, "Oh, thank you so much." And I'm thinking, I'm not going to use any of the space. I'm just going to live out of my suitcase because I'm only here for 4 days. I'm only here for a week. Or even if I'm there for 2 weeks, I'm thinking, well, I'll put some folded shirts on top of the dresser, but I'm not going to actually put anything in the dresser because I don't want to leave anything in the dresser, because if I forget something, then I'm going to get this message like, "Hey, Ray, you left this behind." And then I have to think about whether or not I actually want the thing left behind or if they could just throw it away. And I've only left something at one house sit. This is my 15th or 16th house sit right now, and I've left only one thing. It was the top of my tofu press, and I was so annoyed because I had carefully packed everything and like checked and rechecked, and this was the first time I left something. But thankfully, I was able to pick up the top of the stupid tofu press the next time I drove back through that city because I was doing another house sit for that person's friend. So it all worked out. But I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be more careful. Now, truth be told, I can just use a checklist. And if this was me like doing quality assurance, packing up something for a client, maybe shipping off a product, or we used to do summer camp kits back when I ran like an online summer camp. And so you had a checklist. This is what I would expect for employees and contractors to use. Like, okay, use a checklist to make sure that you have put into the envelope everything that we said we needed to include. Checklists are great. They make it so that you really are less likely to make an error. When I worked at a medical practice, there was the 3-check system. So there were 3 different steps that like a file or preparation for surgery, anything had to go through to make sure there were no errors. Checklists are great. And yet I don't do checklists. When I pack and unpack for house sits, my thing has just been like, well, if you don't take everything out, one suitcase normally just stays in the car. So if you don't unpack everything, if you don't use all the space that they've given you, then you're less likely to forget something, leave something behind, and you don't have to worry about it. It's like easy breezy, good to go, makes packing up a lot easier. Now, here's the thing. I'm here for 2 months. And so as I'm putting things out, I'm like, do I really want to live out of my suitcase for 2 months? Do I want to live small for 2 months? And I mean, this house is so beautiful. And I thought to myself, maybe I can expand just a little bit. Maybe I don't have to live small. And I've been mentally preparing myself for this house sit. Just remember, you're in this place for 4 days. You're in this place for 2 weeks. It's okay. It's okay. Don't freak out because you're going to be on this island for 2 months. And you might be looking behind me going, what kind of island is that? It looks kind of cold outside. And yes, the sun is setting. And this is an island in Washington. So yes, it is cold outside right now. But even though I've been mentally preparing myself to settle in, don't worry, you're going to be able to settle in. I was driving the homeowner's car because I had to drop them off at the ferry. And I said, my car is kind of small, so maybe we should take your car so you can fit all your luggage. And then I'll drive your car back. And part of me was thinking, my car is kind of dirty and I don't want you to see me pulling a freaking air fryer out of my car. I got to get out all the suitcases. And then there was that blanket that I let the dog sit on when I took this other dog to the beach. And they were like, yeah, you can use our car. And so driving this car on this island, the car is a 2017 car, so it's actually older than mine. Mine's a 2019, but it's an electric vehicle, really good condition. And I thought, this car ride is smooth. And I'm driving up to the house. I thought, this house is beautiful. And then I entered the house and I said, maybe it's okay to expand a little. I did it. I made it. I've spent months looking forward to just make it until that house set. Just make it until that 2-month stay. And it's here. It's here. And it's so crazy to me. I mean, I think back, I've produced shows. I've gone on tour as an artist. I feel like I've set different little goals for myself and I've accomplished many of those goals. And you envision something for so long, and then when it finally happens, sometimes it's like, yeah, it happened, woo. And I don't know, maybe I just don't really settle into it, but I don't really marvel at it per se. It's like, yeah, that was cool. High five myself. That was cool. I did it. Yay. But this is a situation where I am marveling at what has occurred. Like, oh my gosh, is this my life? I mean, I said I wanted to try to, like, for 3 years, maybe even 5 years, just do these house sits where I'm traveling, not just the country, but traveling the world, visiting other places and doing long stays to really get to know communities and to really settle in. And it's just this crazy, for me, it feels crazy to think this. Not only is this happening, but we are here. It's been happening. It is happening. It is a possibility. And it also has me thinking, like, what other goals have I set myself, dreams that I have been putting into motion? What else is going to happen? What other milestones will I reach? Other goals will I reach? Part of the house sit thing is also to allow me, while I'm reshaping my business, is to pay off the bills that I've accumulated over the years. There was this little interview on YouTube where the TV station had posed the question to several retired seniors, what would you tell your younger self? And one woman had said, I would tell my younger self to give less and save more. And I thought, that is delicious. I love that idea. Give less and save more. Because when I look at a good majority of my debt, it is from giving. It's from giving. And I can think of so many times where I've saved money, and then the money I've saved, I've had to use that money in order to get me out of some financial jam because lo and behold, this job assignment fell through, or that contract fell through, or the car had some sort of emergency and there wasn't enough in my car emergency fund in order to fund the emergency from the car, or this family member has some crazy emergency, and so I'm going to take out this big loan in order to help fund our life, right? The divorce. My therapist was like, these things are not just spur of the moment. Like, people plan. You have to have a plan. And I was planning, but I reached a point where I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. I can't keep spending all my time planning. And I felt like it's going to take me not just months. I feel like it's going to take me a year to get together this money to be able to leave. And I don't feel like I have the emotional bandwidth. I don't feel like I have that time. And maybe it would have only taken a couple of more months. But I felt pressure in so many different areas of our married life that I just felt like I don't have more time. I just need to state my position, state that this is not in my best interest anymore, and that I have to mentally change my framework to just moving on from this. And there's a huge financial cost to that. I'm not going to lie. I also decided to get a bachelor's degree. And some of you might be like, you can learn whatever you need to learn on YouTube. Why did you go to college? Oh, shame on you. Well, I did go to college in a smart way. I chose colleges that were not expensive. I fully made the decision to get my bachelor's degree. Initially, I had started working on psychology and sociology and had to stop because I just didn't have the money. And so I chose to return to school, get my bachelor's degree, one part because I never wanted anyone else to ever say to me again, oh, we would pay you more because you are definitely qualified and experienced, but you don't have a bachelor's degree, so we're going to pay you less. Like, what? You're going to pay me half of what the other head teachers make just because I don't have a piece of paper? F you. And so I did turn down that job, by the way. It was like a job where you just had to watch small children and sing to them. It was a major franchise, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, I knew that going back to school to get my bachelor's in psychology or sociology didn't fully make sense because I did not plan on being a psychiatrist or sociologist. And so the fastest way for me to get my degree was to use my work experience. And I had a huge amount of work experience in the performing arts. I did not want a degree in restaurant server. No, get out of here with that. And I really didn't want a business degree. Sure, I had, administrative experience, but I didn't want a business degree. So this performing arts program, I went ahead and finished my degree, got my bachelor's in performing arts, and that's what I hold today. I did not make the decision to get that degree thinking, and someday I'm going to head a theater company. I was like, no, this is purely for me, and I'm investing in myself, and I know that this $40,000 is a debt that I'm taking on that isn't necessarily going to change my life, right? I'm not going to reapply for that particular job. But it's something I need to do for me, right? I guess it's like, when you go to the spa and you know that that facial is not going to take years off your life, or that massage is not going to make you completely achy free, but you do it because you have made a decision. This is what you need to do for yourself, your soul, your body, your mind, whatever. Okay, maybe the spa wasn't like the best example, but work with me, people. So yeah, I did get my degree. I love that I do have this degree. It is meaningful to me. And almost 50% of my debt, a little less than 50% of my debt, is from getting that degree, right? But I can proudly say, and I know some people are like, college is so expensive in America, blah, blah, blah. And I can proudly say, I went in eyes wide open, and I did not take out any bank loans. There were loan offers, Wells Fargo, take out this loan. No, get out of here. I'm doing the federal loans, grants if I can, but federal loans. And I'm just going to try to keep it practical. Now, unfortunately, some of that money went to things that it shouldn't have gone to, like, oh my gosh, I don't really have enough for my share of the rent, right? I need a new pair of sneakers because my shoes are wearing thin, those stupid things or whatever. So I wish I would not have put money towards those little things, but I am not upset that I spent money on my college education and that I'm paying it back, right? That is something that I actually really want to do, is to finish paying off my college loans. And if I stay on track, that will happen at the longest within 5 years. But if I really increase my income and just, keep doing the house sit thing, then I can have all of my debt, credit cards, school loans, I can have all of it paid off in less than 3 years. And of course, I want to focus on saving for retirement. So as I've made all these plans, I've been making all of these plans for years. I always recalculate, well, when can I pay off this? And what do I need to do to have this amount when I retire? I love thinking about my future. I love thinking about what I can do when I'm older, when I'm retired. And not just when I'm retired, but how can I enjoy more from my life now? And so being in this house sit, knowing that I'm here for 2 months, that's not changing. Really settling into this is just a little reminder of, hey, that idea that you can pay off your school loans maybe in 3 years, and off your credit card, you could possibly be debt free in 3 years, but definitely 5 years, and maybe you can have X amount of money for retirement. All of these things just feel way more possible, and I'm excited. I'm excited about those possibilities. Now, none of them happened yet. I'm still here. I'm still less than 24 hours in this house sit, but it's just really cool to know that you can put something in motion, and maybe if you keep at it, maybe one day you'll be able to marvel and look around and be like, oh yeah, this is what I was working towards. This is it. It's here. It's here. And for you, you may already be at that point. You might be like, yeah, my dream of being fluent in English and working for a foreign company, or my dream of having my own home and having kids, or my dream of traveling the world and living out of a backpack, my dream of being a van lifer, my dream of, I don't know, eating lots of candy. My dream has finally come true, right? My dream of living in this particular city has finally come true. Or just sitting back and going, gosh, I always wanted to travel the world. And then you realize, wait a minute, I've been to 15 different countries over the years. I've done what I said I wanted to do. This is just cool. So I don't know. Take a look. Take a moment. Take a look and take a moment and just think about, what is something that you put into motion? Maybe you are a journaler and you have an old journal that you can look at. And then ask yourself, am I here? Did I do it? Has it happened? And if you're like, I don't know where to start, then just sit down and write down every single thing you want to do, the bucket list, every single thing. Whether it's, I really want to clean my bathroom and I want to get a tattoo and I want to learn German, right? I don't know, just write it all down. And then maybe look at it the next day and be like, have I started any of these things? Have I done any of these things? Have any of these things actually come true, just like in a way that I didn't expect them to? You might surprise yourself. And so I hope you find a moment where you can marvel at your life and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this happened. In a good way, not that disastrous, like, oh my God, I can't believe it's my life. Because yes, we're all going to have disaster moments, but we're going to have some beautiful moments too. And I bet you have more beautiful moments than you recognize. And so with that, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, peace.